Hey again, Tom from CarbonTrail here. In our last session, we talked about Scope 1 emissions, that's direct emissions, into the atmosphere from sources that you control. Now we're going to discuss how you identify and gather emissions from your use of energy. These sources fall under Scope 2 in the Greenhouse Gas Protocol standard and are classified as indirect emissions. This means that you don't emit them directly, but you need to attribute a proportion of the emissions from generating the energy based on your usage of that energy. In this session, I'm going to talk about the main sources of emissions in this scope for businesses like yours, which is electricity. The standard also talks about purchased heat and steam, but this is not especially common, certainly in this side of the world. There are lots of different ways to generate electricity, ranging from coal, natural gas, hydro, geothermal, and so on. We're incredibly lucky here in New Zealand as we have a lot of renewable energy available to us, and on a good day, most of our energy comes from these sources, making it a pretty green place to live, at least from an energy standpoint. As an aside, there's a great resource called Electricity Maps, which allows you to see how your electricity is generated at any given point. Here's New Zealand's right now. You can go to app.electricitymaps.com, and the link's in the description below, to see what this looks like for where you live. So, Scope 2, purchased electricity. These are the emissions associated with your use of electricity. The most accurate way to measure this is to find the kilowatt hours of electricity that you have used at your premises over the financial year. You can find this either by looking at your bill or using a tool like CarbonTrail. You can actually enter your electricity meter number and we'll pull this from your supplier and figure out the numbers automatically. And here's what that looks like. So this one's pretty short and sweet. You can strap yourself in though, because we're going to wade into the murky waters of Scope 3 emissions next. So, in summary, in this session we discuss Scope 2 emissions, which are indirect emissions from your use of energy, primarily electricity. The key points covered here are Scope 2 emissions are attributed to the energy you consume, such as electricity. The most accurate measurement involves tracking the kilowatt hours of electricity used over the financial year, and you can find this data on your electricity bill or use a tool like CarbonTrail to automate that process by entering your meter number. So stay tuned for our next session where we'll dive into the complexities of Scope 3 emissions. Thank you.